Hello. Let's do this, shall we? Okie dokie. Man, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man. I only need a few more weapons by the looks of things in this rank. Why is the cam so high? Oh, it's because it's done a collapsey. There we go. It fell backwards slightly. Did you not like the ceiling? You're just gonna keep saying that, Intent. I think it needs to go a little to the left. You're not getting crouch cam. Not today. That's for when we get truly desperate. Okay. So I need majestic horns. I need a Wrath Ruby, Hulu Beaks, Odo stuff. I do have 2 of these to go, so I need to get Freezer Sacks from the Tail Riders. Itchy fucking mouth. Horrend Sacks from the Tail Riders. I only have the 1 of these, I believe. Yes. Okay, Majestic Horns, Rathalos Rubies, Kulu, Odo, and Sitsi is what I need. Don't need Legiana. Don't need Toby, don't need Duratalos. Sitsi, Kulu, Diablos, Rathalos, Odo. That seems right. There we go. Cool. How far are you in your one of these now, N10? You gotta be like a chunk into master rank, right? Or have you been putting it off due to due to Lunastra? Don't know why I'm coming to you. I can't do anything here. Killed 3 Luna, couldn't forge a single weapon. You've not gotten back since. Oh, that's rough. I assume you're waiting to the point where I have Luna unlocked now, then. Since I'm gonna have to do it anyway. Okay. Gotta go all the way to the end of that. And then I will be able to get the Frost Sacks, hopefully. Easy. Easy. Let's do Diablos and Odo first. They're the most important things. Hello, Radion. Welcome. Bow tutorial? I don't think I'm good enough at the game to give a tutorial for any weapons, to be honest. By the time I have it, you'll probably be on vacation. You think you're stuck with it? Oh. When are you going on vacation? The first 2 weeks of July? I reckon it will take me longer than that, don't you? I've still got all of HR8 to do. Although I suppose I do unlock it as soon as I get to HR8, do I unlock it? HR8's pretty quick though, is it? Every single weapon has an upgrade for me. Hello, mate. How you doing? How you doing? Okay, almost every single weapon does. I don't even remember how to play bow in this game. Just slide a lot. How you play bow in this game, right? Have lots of stamina, slide a lot. Flippy slidey back on the floor. If you have piercing pods, use Thousand Dragons. The gear rules at this point are HR7 gear. So pre-Elder Dragon stuff. HR7, oh, 7-star. Yeah. HR is high rank, so high rank 7-star. Confuse myself constantly. It'll be fixed when I get to Master Rank, because then it says MR1 instead of HR7. Hello, Raka. Welcome. Well, if I'm lucky here, that will happen. If I'm lucky, it's possible that I get out of this rank today. So if you can do Luna as soon as you get to HR8, rather than HR9, it is not impossible. Hello, Unreal. I do indeed have aircon. It is amazing. Luna's post Xeno. Oh god, yeah, that's gonna take forever then. Then I would have thought that will maybe take longer than 2 weeks. If you think about how long I got stuck in this rank for. Although it's not as warm in Sweden as it is elsewhere in Europe at the moment, so to be honest, it's not that bad. Thankfully, I've been quite lucky. That's something. Celsius is fucking rank, though. I always lived in Sweden? No, I lived in England until May 25. Thank you. You moved in with partner and it was stressful, so God knows what it's like moving abroad. Yeah, I've done it 3 times now, and it sucks every single time. I moved to Sweden late 2018. Wasn't allowed to stay. Was forced to be here illegally. Because 2019 was a year that certainly existed. Or was it 19 to 20? It might have been 19 to 20, I don't remember. Pre-COVID. In Europe. Anyway. And then I literally could not go home because there wasn't any flights. Then moved back to England. And then moved here again now that I'm here. Legally. COVID, yeah. COVID made it so I couldn't leave, but I was technically not here legally. I can stay this time. I have a residence permit. Hello, Roach. Hopefully drinks enough in the immense heat. It's I don't know what you mean. It's a smooth 20 degrees in here. We have an aircon in the hallway, which is like just outside my room. And then normally that blows air into my room anyway. And then I've got a fan blowing that in even more. Why did you go to Sweden before I had a permit to start with? Because at that point, England was in the EU. So if I applied to stay and I had sufficient savings and or a job, they would have let me stay. But they decreed that my savings were insufficient combined with my partner's income, so they decided to not let me stay, and I did not have a job. I don't know what the outside temperature is. I'll go look. Let me peep. The thermometer's probably a few degrees high because it's been sitting in the sun. But the thermometer says 38, so it's probably like 34, 35. But it's 20 internally because of the aircon. The best thing ever. I love the aircon. Is it humid? Not here, it's fucking not. Oi! Genuinely, when it gets to like 30 degrees plus in Sweden, it feels like 10 degrees colder. Because I'm so used to the weather in the UK. And because the humidity isn't there and it's not like sapping the strength out of my skin. Genuinely feels like a Swedish 30 is an English 20. I'm just chilling. I'm fine. Ain't shit. We need some claws and horns for the Amatsu longsword. Oh, so you're nearly done with Portable Food already. Jesus. Find it funny they say you can't stay and then let you stay. I mean, they didn't really have a choice, right? When they say you're not allowed to stay, but then every way of leaving the country shuts down for me to get back to my home country because the Euro tunnel was closed as well. They don't really have a choice. I forced the country's hand. I've never been jealous of the fan before. And Hannah. One weapon down. One weapon down. What? Hello. He has arrived. I love you, Basil. I love your music. I love your stinger. Nay! Oh. Hello, Unknown. Welcome. The air hurts. It feels like getting hit with a clothes iron. Yeah. Yup. It's okay though, guys. We don't need to worry about climate change. You see, it's simply our fault for being too poor to have air conditioning in a mobile unit that follows us around everywhere we stand. It rained the other day, it can't be real, exactly. Reached 47, enough to make it a day off. Oh, Jesus. To that degree, eh? Yeah, 47 is fucking nuts. That is hazardous to life, for sure. A jungle could also reach that temperature. Egypt, yeah. It's known for being relatively warm in Egypt. 27 is an answer, yeah. You can count the times on one hand. I thankfully was not there in the UK when it reached 40 plus degrees. I was on holiday in Sweden at the time. But I will forever remember it because my mum had candles on the windowsill and the wax melted. Desert, you'd assume it gets cold at night. I imagine it would depend greatly on where you are in Egypt, right? I don't know what the logic for coastal desert is in terms of like temperature stuff. I don't know if that keeps it a little cooler during the day and a little warmer during the night, or if it's just cooler all around the coastal desert. Because there isn't, well, there is people, but there isn't a lot of Egyptian population that actually lives in inland, right, in the desert areas, because it's kind of like it doesn't sustain life very well. Where's the Egyptian? The Egyptian... Egypt is fully in Africa, right? Around 35 a normal summer day, it would be 25 to 30 at night, right? Yeah. That's what I would expect from coastal desert. The desert is more savage and it's flip-flopping, right? Egypt is mostly in Africa, the Sinai is in Asia, yeah. It's in the Arabian. Is there a, like, terminology for that? When does the Arabian Peninsula end? Where does... It does end there, okay. What's the, like... I don't know what the Iraq, Syria, Israel, Palestine area is called. Is that what we call Middle East still? Because Turkey's Anatolia, right? The Levant? That might be the Levant, yeah. Wait, isn't Egypt Levant as well, though? Or is Egypt part of the Maghreb? Fuck it. Is the Maghreb like Tunisia to Morocco? Can't fucking know. The Maghreb starts in Libya. Okay. It goes to where? To Morocco? Mauritania. Okay. Yeah, I didn't know how far, like, peninsulas are weird, right? Because what feels like it should be the Arabian Peninsula is fairly obvious, at least in my brain. But then it always goes, like, further up than I expect it to. Like, the cutoff. It's not just the bit that juts out, right? It's not just like a straight fucking line between the jutty out bit and where it stops jutting out. It kind of, wibble wobbles. Have you lived in Egypt for a long time, Unknown? Most of your life. Were you there when that fucking boat was stuck? I cannot remember what it was called. Because I know what the feeling in, like, Europe was at that point. But I don't know what the feeling was inside, you know, the place where it was predominantly affected by it. Because clearly that's not important to... Especially the UK. Unfortunate history there that shows that the British haven't really cared terribly too much about the Egyptians. Historically. To understate it quite heavily. The Ever Given, was that it? The boat went perpendicular? Yeah, yeah. Looked at the news with like, fuck, this is gonna be bad. That's about what I expected. I just wondered. How did Broski manage that? He never tried to drift the boat before? Never piloted one. Wait. A ship with 3 captains. It's like too many cooks, you know? Too many cooks spoil the broth. Too many captains drift the ship. Two officials were on when there's only supposed to be one. Oh, interesting. They started fighting, yeah, naturally. You know, that's one of those things as well, where because of the fact that they were acting like that, both of them forever blame the other guy for the fact that it happened, and have absolutely no, like, sense of humility about the fact that they caused. One of perhaps the most, like, significant inconveniences to modern maritime trading. Forcing a whole bunch of fucking people to go around the south coast. Past the Horn. Is that the full version of the too many cooks thing? Too many cooks spoil the stew or the broth, something like that. That is the point of it, I believe. Yes. It's I don't know what it is exactly, but it's something along those lines. We can amend it to be too many cooks spoil the stew, and too many captains fuck up international maritime shipping. Catchy, I promise. In Arabic, it's actually 2 captains sank the ship. Yes. That is fucking perfect. Dude, I bet people are going around saying that shit constantly. Having a fucking whale of a time laughing at him. please forgive my grilling and monumental lack of knowledge. Is Egyptian still a spoken tongue? Or has it been replaced? I know Africa as a continent has shit ton of languages. It's one of those things that I find fascinating. So much of, at least the Western world specifically, relies on a tiny little fucking man-made water bridge, right? Between, is it the Gulf of Aden? I don't even know where the fuck it leads to, and the Mediterranean? Tiny, tiny little fucking thing. Crazy shit. It's Arabic, but there's a distinct Egyptian dialect. Okay. Strait of Hormuz? Hormuz is way further over, no? Because that's there, and it goes there, and then you come out, that's the Gulf of Aden, I think? And then the Strait of Hormuz is up here, or something. It's just the Red Sea. Geography. Gimme map. Why did I search the word geography instead of just going on Google fucking Maps? Google Maps. With too many O's. Thank you for starting me on Stockholm. That's not what I want. It is just the Red Sea. You do go through the Gulf of Aden. Okay. Yeah, Hormuz is closer to Iran. What is this bullshit? Free plates? I need a jam. Fuck you. Every country that speaks Arabic has a distinct dialect. Makes sense. I find it really interesting the sheer reach that Arabic has as a language. The only thing giving your country any power. I mean, it's a significant amount of power, though, right? Just a little bit of water. Look how much that costs people in such a small span of time. You could just close that sucker if you wanted to, right? Like it's fully within Egypt's power to do so. It'd be terrible for Egypt as well, because they get a lot of like tariffs and stuff from it, but I wonder how much of that, how much trade tariff that comes from Suez. Is it the Suez Canal? What's the one over there? What's that one called? Don't know, it's gone. Fuck me. What's the one in wait, does that exist? It's in America. Central America. Am I going crazy? The Panama Canal, that's it. Oh my god. My brain is cooking in this heat, man. It's not even that fucking warm inside. I just melt like a fucking candle. Terrible. Someone needs to find where my intellect died and return it to me, because it'd be nice to have it back. You already incorporated it? Give it back. I need it. I'm clearly losing more every day. You can't, it's fully integrated. Well, yoink some of your one that you've got going on out and give me that instead then. Preferably the bit without all of the strange knowledge. It is the Suez. Don't charge much for mainly diplomatic reason, because the more global relies supplies on the canal, the better it is, yeah. I know it's not like humongous, I just wonder what it is in terms of GDP. Because even if you don't charge much per ship, with how much of the Western world's like shipping is hardcore reliant on it, right? It's still got a net, like a chunky bit of cash for Egypt. No trades. Trade is just money diplomacy, right? So to charge out the fucking ass for it would just be bad diplomacy. In the deficit? Do you run a deficit every year, do you? As a country? It is bad. Oh. I know there was some unwise, seemingly, at least to me, from an outsider's perspective, spending decisions going on in terms of, like, my understanding is functionally man-making a whole new, like, pseudo-capital city in a bad place for it. I didn't know it was just terrible in general. As well. A lot of overpopulation problems, right, as well. If I remember correctly. Dude, I need to play more Europa Universalis for... My geography's taken a hit. That's how I know all of my geography. It's all from fucking EU4. Do you have any quests you want to do, Mace, or are you just here for the murder? Hello, by the way. Thank you for joining. Hello, Summers. Welcome. Welcome. What burger you got? What you got on your burger? Mad at death kill, okay. You're a good citizen, you will not talk negatively about a certain man because the wolves have ears. Okay. Well, sorry, the wolves also just have ears. Separate statement. Completely unrelated to anything previously mentioned. That's not very good. That's not very good at all. Okay. I've googled absolutely no one in particular for absolutely no reason. When the words relied on naked coercion are involved on any page, it's not a great sign. Man gave your walls the gift of hearing. Yeah, truly. A truly powerful individual is the only person who could do that. You got beef, cheese, bacon. Okay, what is bacon sauce? And lettuce? Honestly, as long as it's not drowning in the cheese. Common burger mistake, in my opinion. That sounds fucking amazing. Almost all of your rarity 6s are unupgraded, cool. It's just called bacon sauce, you have no clue what they put in it. I'd probably stay away from that, personally. Oh, hey, it's tasty, it's tasty. It's pre-Outer Dragon equipment. There is no rarity logic because, like, specifically a Geolos and Deviljho can be got at this rank. Which makes it so that you can use rarity 7 for those, I think. But, like, everything else is rarity 6. I really do need to play some EU4. It has been a long time. Play the Mamluks, maybe. Be Egyptian inspired. I'm just gonna stop reading that. I don't want to know anymore. Extrapolate, mates. Use your brain. Typically when someone writes something along the lines of I will not talk negatively about a certain man because I'm a good citizen, you can use your logic. It doesn't matter who, though. If that's ever anywhere, it's not a good sign. You're not so acquainted with autocratic or whatever it's called people? Dictators, typically, but... You know Kim Jong-un off the top of your head? And the Chinese guy. Do you know the Chinese guy if you refer to him as the Chinese guy? Like, if I just say Mao Zedong, are you going to agree with me? He was a Chinese man. Mao Zedong's an old one. I'm pretty sure he's dead. Xi Jinping, I believe is his name. I am done with Kulu. You're losing it at the base conversation. When you pay no attention and then are told to put two and two together, it doesn't go very well. You don't even know what country you're speaking about. At that point, you don't deserve to know. You were actively involved in the prior conversation. And you still don't know what we're talking about? What do you mean? Arabic isn't a country, Arabic is a language. And at no point have we talked about either the UAE or Saudi Arabia. Depending on which one you would classify as more likely to be Arabia? I mean, Saudi Arabia, it's in the name and it has more territory, but... Central America is also not a country. And that was just me forgetting the name of the Panama Canal. think you know the country, but you know jack shit about the country. That's why I was on Google Maps. This is why I was on the Wikipedia. Oh my god, man. Sometimes I do wonder how you function. The answer is that you don't. I'm very glad that your breathing is an autonomous action. Otherwise, I think you would be in trouble sometimes. Oh, God. Oh, Mace. Mace. You silly, silly boy. No, that would include. That's a larger region. There's too many region names, man. Wait, is that over there? No, that's further down, right? Like that's. That's Iraq? Mesopotamia? It's the river over there that I'm thinking of. Dude, there's too many fucking words. Language sucks. Isn't Mesopotamia some fictional place? Are you sure you're not American, Mace? One of the potential, like, birthplaces of civilization as we know it. I believe I'm correct in saying that it's where Babylon was located. I think that was Mesopotamia. Topology's never been your strong suit. So you thought Europe was America in 7th grade? Okay, you might actually be American. I'm just informing you. Did they make you salute a flag in school? Like daily? That is Babylon. Cool. Is Ashur there as well? At a different point? Or is Ashur somewhere else? Assyria, whatever it's called. No, flags are stupid, okay. So Mace went to the low tier indoctrination school in the Netherlands for American control taking. Cool. Good to know. They don't make you salute the flag, you didn't? Good. The fact that it's even a thing at all is psychotic. I was gonna say I've never saluted towards a flag in my life, but that's not true. I was in Army Pits. We were doing the Memorial Day parades, so having to salute had the opposite effect. It's so, like, psychotic, right? Genuinely. It's unironically, like, one of the dystopian things I can think of. Like, if you put something like that in Cyberpunk or something, I'd be like, yeah, of course. Of course they would. You know? It's the only one in the school who didn't, yeah. I don't think, like, legally they don't force you, right? But socially you are forced to a degree. It's one of those situations. Is my comprehending? No, you're not American? I'm just saying. I'm just saying, mate. You share some educational level sometimes. Okay, mate. Iceland, would you say? What would you classify Iceland as in terms of a country? Its own country? Subjugated? An autonomous puppet? I don't know, on fire? It's probably on fire. Everything's on fire at this point in time. Nordic? Isn't Iceland its own island to the top left of the UK? I mean, you got the geography relatively correct, yeah? Well done. Hey, Ysaika. Bugstick, best stick. Bugstick is very fun. What's the collector's challenge? You have to build every available, in this case, insect glaive, bar Behemoth, because fuck Behemoth. Not including any event exclusive weapons, as soon as you're able to and through the entirety of its tree. So for example, Frostfang Barrier, which doesn't exist until post-game master rank, right? I have to start making that weapon from Iron Blade 1, upgrading it in every rank before I'm allowed to move on. Like Iron Blade 1 to 2, then to the Kulu weapon, then to the Luminous Blade, then to the Frost Blade. Keep the Frost Blades going until all the way up until the point where you upgrade the Amber Piton into the Fenrir Rose. For every single available insect glaive. That's the rub. It's horrible. It's incredibly fucking grindy. Can't say you know jack of its political situation, you'll assume it's a sovereign nation. It is an autonomous puppet of Denmark. Is that Iceland or is that Greenland? That might be Greenland, actually. Sorry, I got them the wrong way around. Fuck you, Greenland! Why is Greenland green? Greenland should be Iceland! I hate it. My brain does that every time. That's my bad. I am the mistake. I fucked up. Yeah, I did fuck up. That was a really dumb thing of me to do. I make that mistake constantly as well, despite the fact that I want to go to the Reykjavik. Iceland is a sovereign nation. I still love the Greenland just telling Trump like directly to fuck off. It's funny. Test me and fucks up. I didn't know Iceland was sovereign. I just got them the wrong way around. Iceland should be Greenland and Greenland should be Iceland. I think there should be a worldwide vote to change the names. Because the names are bad. Yes. Oh, that's what I'm talking about. Free Thunder Sacks. You had the last of each line, but you start at the halfway point. Yeah. That's the better way to do it. When you're, like, already through the game or you're waiting for the expansion to come out and doing it at that point is way smarter than doing the full lot all the way like this. Infinitely better. Your elementary education ain't always well-rounded. I mean, you can learn stuff at, like, your own pace beyond that point as well. That's why Raka's intelligent. Raka certainly wasn't encouraged to succeed by the education system, right? Only when you were very young? What, like in preschool? Level young? Like in Iceland and Greenland. Why are they the wrong way around? You didn't go to preschool? Oh, really? I thought that was a big thing over there. You know, old preschools. In whatever the fuck you would call primary, then. Oh, we have an unknown. Yay. 3 people. This is incredibly comfortable, but sadly, it is too warm. I love you, dressing gown, but I have to betray you, because you're betraying me. In elementary and middle school, your school district had gifted and talented programs, right? I have never done such a thing. And I'm very fucking thankful for it. Nice, ready. Nice. Thank you. That shit made you go non-verbal from stress? Yeah, I can imagine. Hello, Melogin. Welcome. I am indeed on PC. D&T, anything in school you look forward to? Dude, I can't imagine. Looking forward to any point of school. At any point ever. That's crazy. Hello, Swede. I am in high rank, yep. We are in 7-star at the moment. So the second high rank tier. Three Elders. Next rank is Elder Dragons. Not including Xeno and Luna. Bagger eviscerated? Hell yeah. That sounded like a good damn burger, so I can't say I'm surprised. We get takeaway. On Monday. I'm not having a burger, but nonetheless. Good friggin' shit. Technically, we also had takeaway yesterday, but that's not important. Life powder in my item, so I need claws, sadly, not fangs. Nice, good hit. Straight on the face. I don't remember Elder Tracks at all. I have a vague idea on Ping Rathian, but I don't remember Elder Tracks whatsoever. Unfortunately. Should let the Greatsword do this. The Greatsword, as if there's not two of them, by the way, actually. I didn't even realise. Good stuff. Oh my god. As long as I don't get shafted by Raphalos forever, I might, God forbid, might just make it out of this bloody rank today. That would be nice. There's a proto-gem or a circle. It's enough world for you today. The rules currently constrict you to a great sword and a lance. Fair enough. Fictional species made to fairies. Oh, okay. Fair enough. Oh, made by. My investigation's maxed out. I should actually probably manage that. You have to do this one at a time, really. I'm probably gonna miss something. Dude, every time that event gets mentioned, I am once again reminded how fucking delighted I am to not be in the UK. Oh, sweet fucking blissful release. Relief even. Release is something else. Sus. I do not have to hear about football. Yes. Severe improvement in quality of life has been obtained. I need a Sitsi registered, not a Kulu. You're melting right now, valid. It's a wee bit too much. To say the least, at the moment. It's a wee bit too much. There's a stereotype in the fandom. If your Sona, your first Sona, right, is a circle, that you're autistic. That would be a very interesting, thing to study if it's correct. You hate it. The World Cup starts. Suddenly, a bunch of Americans pretend they're interested in soccer. They don't even know it's called football, for fuck's sake. The name soccer came from the UK. Yeah, but it's archaic now because we refer to it as rugby instead. So that logic doesn't apply anymore, really. Work in 2 hours, your aircon is broken. Your work aircon is broken? Decker? That's horrendous. How hot is it where you are? You work at a cinema? At least 34, okay. That's horrendous, but at least it's not like 40 plus. You work at a cinema with no air conditioning. A fucking cinema? Where there's humongous numbers of people all clustered into a tiny little space? That's terrible. That is terrible. Dude, I hope they fix that shit quick. It's a big loss. Was that a big loss? I wasn't really paying attention, to be honest. Depending on where it is, you also have to apply the logic of if they live in a civilized country, Mace, as well. The timeline is 6 to 12 weeks. That's very dumb. Don't do it while it's needed. Now it's not. When it's not needed, now it's needed. Everyone needs AC. Yeah, exactly. Now the HVAC guys are absolutely fucking swamped. People wanting new air conditioning units, old ones cleaned, stuff fixed. Didn't work in the winter either. Fucking incompetent. Do they not realize that, like, that impacts business as well? Like, people don't want to go to a cinema that's freezing cold or boiling fucking hot, right? Boggles my mind. Unless there's literally no other option. They lowered the customer satisfaction score we have to aim for because of known problems. I mean, that's a good thing in terms of the employees in the short term, sure. Correct choice, right? But if the customers are that dissatisfied, they might not come back. So dumb, man. I don't understand how people who get into positions of management don't even have like business sense for it. It blows my fucking mind. Even if you want to look at people as an expendable resource, which you shouldn't, right? From a money perspective, you want to fix it because you're going to lose potential future customers. People won't return. Because they're always just going to remember, like, oh, you remember that time we had to walk out of fucking Alien because it was like we were literally melting? first internship had a customer satisfaction quote for every employee. That's disgusting. That is utterly disgusting. The boss who isn't even in the cinema cares more about the cost of the AC than the people, because capitalism. But that's the thing, it's bad capitalism, Weiss. That's what I don't understand. Even from a capital perspective, it's bad. Even, like I said, even if you're treating people as disposable resources, which you shouldn't, it's just a bad way to make capital. Is there a good capitalism? Much like every other form of government that has ever existed and ever will, slash, I suppose not government, but a state of which a country runs under, perhaps. I don't know what the term is for that. Potentially, yes. There is a form of good capitalism in which monopolies are actually refused. They aren't allowed to happen. In which human beings are somehow non-bribable, thus it goes into the realm of fantasy, like every other government that in theory is good. In which the actual purpose of it becomes to make stuff that is better for cheaper, so that people will buy it in comparison to your respective competitors. Instead of trying to make yourself more well known, thus sucker people into paying more money for a worse product. Hypothetically, yes, there is a good version of it. But the good version of it requires the average person to be more intelligent. And, we all know that ain't happening. Basically, boom, Japan, we all know that ended up happening. Yeah. Yeah, Japan just runs under modern slavery instead. Which, ain't the way to go. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more weapons that need to be upgraded in this rank. That is it. 2 of them just require ore, and 1 Legiana wing, actually. I need a torrent sack and a majestic horn. You didn't know this, but it looks like the new Xbox controller you had, which you thought was breaking, needed a firmware update. Why does a controller need a firmware update? Its buttons are sending signals. How can it need to be updated? Welcome to the modern world. In which things just make sense. If you don't pay any attention to anything. The PM of the country with the most overwork-related deaths and suicide ever said she doesn't believe in work-life balance. The guys are gonna wonder why there's no young people making money to upkeep their elders, yeah. I mean, Korea is similar, obviously not the same country, but similar mentality of you work yourself to death for your country. Is like gone now, right? It's beyond. It's below the replenishment point. The country will die in like 50 years. There will be no South Korea. So is Japan. Is Japan below the replenishment line? Oh, Japan is big time below the fucking replenishment line. Holy shit, it's so much worse than Korea. That's horrifying. Korea's at like negative 0.12%. Japan's at negative 0.5. That's bad. A lot of places are below the 2 per couple. The 2 per couple doesn't really matter. As such, as long as the like population growth average works. So, you know, like, in a hypothetical situation, 9 women could not have babies and 1 woman can have 20 fucking kids. But I also think that what's important, and doesn't get calculated into things, is that it's more likely due to when you have what should ideally be a higher standard of living, there is a correlation with people having less children as well, because people don't need to have, you know, 6 kids to ensure that at least 2 of them survive through young years, where fucking meningitis and malaria and oh shit, they got a fever and died is a problem. And we're in like the snap reaction to that at the moment, I believe, where instead of people having, you know, like my nan was one of 8 children, we've flipped into the opposite side where it's like I have one kid, that's fucking enough. And in theory, world population will reach a more like sustainable level rather than constant explosive growth, and then it will kind of probably equalize back up to 2 again. The problem is when it's below replenishment rate. Like, it's not even staying at the level it's at or dipping slightly. It is full on, like, country with a -0.5. That would make it so there is no Japan left in, what, 200 years? It would be before that point, because of how numbers work, but... People in prime baby making age are stressed over maintaining a roof. Yeah, exactly. And there's a lot of people who are in situations like, maybe not exactly similar to me and the small one, but in similar-ish situations where, you know, both, if you pretend that I actually work, if you pretend that this is a job, they both have a career, but they can't afford to have a good life and have a child. And there's just a lot of people who are choosing to just live their own life, right? Like, I don't want children, the small one does. But I would never have a child if it meant they had a bad life. Because we had a child. So there is a shit ton of factors going into it at the moment. Yeah, that's the big problem in Japan and Korea is very much specifically, well, I don't know about Japan, but in Korea it's very specifically that people who are of young enough of an age where you would expect them to contribute as such to the replenishment rate. That's fucking wild as that sounds. Either can't afford it or hate the living conditions and the like cultural logic so much that they're just leaving. So not only are they not keeping up replenishment rate, the people who, from a statistic standpoint, should be keeping replenishment rate are immigrating instead. Right? Which is incredibly bad. You can't even afford your groceries, like why have kids? Yeah. We need people to fuck. No, we need people to get pregnant specifically. Trust me, mate. People are still fucking. People need to be laden with a parasite, deliver it at its full term, and then enable it to live until the point where it can sustain itself. The problem is not that people aren't fucking. People be fucking. That's happening. You can't stop that if you wanted to. Hello, Dawn. Welcome. What did you enter the stream to? Conversation about the general state of replenishment rate around the world and how the average person is having less children. And specifically how that is impacting Korea and also apparently Japan, which I did not know. Being pregnant at birth is the most fucked up thing ever. It's taxing to the body, mind, the reward is spending more money you don't have yet. And even in a lot of what we would refer to as the more civilized countries, which is very in of itself fucked up, right? Your reward for having your child is getting to be off work from like 9 to 15 months or something, depending on what country you live in. And assuming you are in a I hate terminology because I don't want to offend people by accident. A heteronormative relationship. I believe that's the most good way I could phrase that. A straight relationship. My understanding is that almost all modern countries go, well, you didn't need your partner to help you take care of the baby anyway. You carried this little shit for 9 months. Now you can do the rest of the work as well. Paternal leave is terrible. Dads do not get time off. I actually don't know how it works in instances of same-sex relationships. If you have a surrogate mother for gay people, how time off would work there. And if you had if you were a surrogate mother in a lesbian relationship, do they both get maternity leave? The system is not set up for that, like, at all, right? Maternal is the birth giver, yes. The mother gets more time off, which makes sense. How about neither? Yeah, it could be neither. I mean, if you are the carrier of the child, even in a lesbian relationship, you've had a doner kebab as a baby. If you've had a sperm donor, you'd still get maternal leave because you are pregnant, right? It's just in a gay relationship where I don't know how it would work. If you had a surrogate mother, it probably just doesn't work. They're just like, yeah, no, neither of you get paternal leave. Birthing or the primary adoptive parent gets it? Okay. In the Netherlands? Interesting. People are getting pregnant and can't afford the children, yeah. Or in, I think, in Unknown's case in Egypt, I think Egypt has a horrendous overpopulation problem. very specifically as well. Because there is not a lot of living room in a country that is basically entirely dependent on one main river for its living room. And its coastlines as well. The other gets partner leave, which is paternal. UK has similar shit. Grandmother gets more, she needs rest, yeah. Hello Roman, welcome. Yeah, but there's no world in which maternal leave should be less than paternal leave. It's just very interesting specifically with if you are a gay couple and you have a surrogate mother, right? Because like that baby ain't taking care of itself when it's very, very young. Assuming the deal with the surrogate mother is like, you pop this sucker out and peace, you're done, you know? Goes back to enjoying non-pregnant related activities, like walking without pain. After they've recovered, of course. Takes a wee bit, but... Stuff like that doesn't help. To even the mild degree that we have become more accepting, it's not enough really, right? But it's a damn sight better than it was 15 years ago. Of non-heteronormative relationships. The rules are not in place very well for things like surrogate mothers for very specifically gay couples. Anyway, a little bit of population dip isn't the end of the world, right? Overall, having less kids for a wee bit of time is probably actually a good thing. Because there's a lot of us on this fucking planet. And it might be a wee bit more than it needs to be. Nice. Like 2 per couple is the replenishment rate, basically, if you want to go by that logic. It's probably absolutely fine to be 1.5 for a good chunk of time. It's not going to cause any serious damage, really, is it? We don't want to put ourselves into a, what would be the equivalent of like a war economy, but with childbirth. The only way we can keep functioning is if we perpetually have more children to deal with the increased costs of the fact that we have more old people, thus we need more children. That would be unwise. To say the least. I missed them because my thing wasn't making any noise for some holy fucking Legiata investigation. God damn! My Streamlabs wasn't making noise for some reason, but thank you, Kimmy and Malagine, for following. I appreciate it. Sorry I missed those earlier. Didn't make any noise. Streamlabs are being weird at the moment. That's balked. I think the only thing I need is Sidsi Claws. And that might be it. And the Torrent Sacks, obviously. And then I need to go mining, but it will be multiplayer done at least. Population grew 40 million in the last decade, which is bad considering there was an overpopulation problem a decade ago. I think what's important to bear in mind as well with stuff like that is where is the population also, right? Because there's still, unfortunately, even though there shouldn't be, because we are able to like not have it as a problem, there are still a lot of countries around the world which suffer from high infant mortality, despite the fact that they just straight up should not. Didn't want to equip that. Somehow still need to do frickin' Duratados. How do I always need to do Duratados? Isn't the case there? Infant mortality is close to first world country levels, yeah. That's why it's important to know where it is, right? Because in that case, it's genuinely a problem. Like, people have got to fucking chill. I don't know why I tried to join a quest when I'm the one posting them. Sitsi is the last thing I need. And then I'm done with this tier. I can fight new monsters. Oh, the luxury. The absolute goddamn luxury. So many bloody people as well, right? 40 million people. Shit's wild. I don't know what the the overall like world population graph would look like. I wonder if it's tapering. Population is seemingly predicted to peak at 2081 and then start declining slightly. Still growing at the moment. I suppose a lot of it is going to depend on if we remain world population at that point. I imagine it will. I don't see us making any collaborative great strides in the next 60 years, but... we actually got our shit together and work together. Might be world's population. It's such a big number. That's so many people. That's crazy to think about, right? That many people, all just same way, living their own lives, having their own problems, stressed as fuck, anxious, just insane. Absolutely wild. Thank you, Speed Sharpener. I appreciate what you've given me here. Wee. That's fun. So many people. 8 billion. I love these population sites and how it's used as like, it's just estimation logic, right? But it is. It sounds psychotic, but just like very mortality reminding to watch the deaths today thing, and it's just like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's like Jesus Christ. A little bit of humility reminding, you know? Not too bad to have now and then. Mortality? Oh, I don't need to be reminded of my mortality. I'm crucially aware of that. I don't need the Legiana wings. Do I still need Legiana wings now? No, I have the exact amount I need. Cool. Okay, the only things that need to be upgraded are these things which need ore. Thank you very much for the help. Multiplayer-wise, Unknown. I'm gonna go and mine now. I appreciate it very, very much. Thank you for earlier, Mace, as well. Go and finish this fucking rank. Come on. That's good shit. It's a very strange thing to think about. Assuming we stay upon the one planet and there's nothing that fiddles with, like, livable space and whatnot, which there probably will be at some point, right? That within 50 years' time, in many of our lifespans still, assuming something horrible doesn't happen, if something horrible happens, potentially we're already looking at the peak anyway. We might see we might live through and see the peak of humanity, if not Earth's population. That's weird. That's really weird. In one way, you should look up an estimate of how many humans have ever lived. More than 8.3 billion. If only I could alt-tab from this game and play it at the same time. But no, it has to work with a mouse. Stupid thing. Otherwise I would. Not by a lot. I'd imagine it's by a decent chunk more. Not as much as you would maybe expect it to be. Because, before the advent of basically farming, right? Agriculture as a concept, it was significantly lower. And even then, until like the 1800s or so, medicine was always at such a bad point that people didn't really have the chance to grow old and continue to have children for a longer amount of time. There was people who lived for like good time. That's not the thing in question there. It's just a lot more people died in like wars and stuff as well, right? But we have less of now, hopefully. In the last 300,000 years, around 110 billion. So it's a lot more than 8 at least. That's about what I would expect though. I probably would have spitballed it about 100 mil. 100 bill. Too many dead babies bring the average down? Yeah, exactly. I wonder what the stats would be if you limited it to people who lived past, basically people who became of age, of adult age, whatever you consider that to be in whatever period of time you were in, right? I wonder how much lower that number would be if you removed the child mortality from it. Not just infant mortality, but child mortality in general. Hey, you know. It's a big stretch, buddy. Hello. How you doing? Yeah. Yeah. But the speed though.
I know, I'm home. My puppy.
Like an hour earlier.
I know. But I am also genuinely afraid of falling asleep at the wheel.
Which is not very good.
No, I'm not afraid. I'm not.
You live past 25, you had a 50% chance of making it to 60 in most of history. It's already all open if you're gonna go do that. Okay. I wonder, impossible statistic that will never be able to be answered, right? I wonder how many of those 110 billion people died in war. How many of them were soldiers? Conscripted or otherwise? And how many were civilians? And like anything we would consider to be an act of war, right? Not just, well, technically we didn't declare war, so. At least one. That would be a very upsetting statistic. It would. And it would do nothing to inform people of the fact that we need to stop it either. As if the death counts of the First and the Second World War that were still within incredibly recent memory weren't enough to stop people from going to war with each other. Which they aren't. That's not going to be enough. Having the total statistic either, right? Hello, Mike. How are you? What is that little friend you've got there? 2-point pickle, apparently. Looks cute. And people who actively say it didn't happen, never enough, yeah. I never really understood that logic. Even though I think it's a little bit cuckoo, I, to some degree, can understand people being like, oh, insert event was done just for publicity and wasn't real or whatever, right? Because it's like, I mean, sure. I can vaguely see where you're coming from, even if I don't agree. There isn't really anyone who wins out of the, like, Holocaust. It's not good for anyone. I'm gonna do this last little cycle here because I'm still gonna need more ore anyway, so might as well. People I actually want it to happen is even worse. North America still teaches about the War of Northern Aggression. I don't know what that is. That's what the South call the Civil War. It really confuses me, well, the education in the States, full stop, really confuses me. But it really confuses me that there isn't like a... I don't know, do you call it federal and then state in America? I think it's federal, right? That there isn't a certain degree of like federal level mandatory education as part of law. Stuff like teaching about your own country's history, the good and the bad bits. You know, as someone who came from England, the United Kingdom, we weren't taught about everything bad that we did throughout all of history because there is not enough time for that. You could fill an entire secondary education with just all the shit that we'd done that's horrendous. But they at least touched on, like, the big note in the slave trade, right? And very clearly we're like, yeah, this was our fault. Specifically mentioning the fact that they called it the triangle trade to obfuscate what was actually going on. I find it weird that there's no similar thing for the States, seemingly. Or if there is, that it's so, like, lax. So, yeah, it's not just America, of course, but... The kids hate themselves being white. If they learn about slavery, they should feel pride in being white. Actual argument you saw someone make. You shouldn't feel proud about the color of your skin. You shouldn't feel bad about it either. It's just skin. It keeps the rest of the shit, and that's all it's good for. Yeah, that's the most nonsensical argument. That's someone who's never heard of what empathy is, or sympathy. Japan teaches World War II of them doing nothing and dropping the sun on them. Skin's very important to some people. It's very important to everyone. It's just important to some people in a way that it shouldn't be. You wouldn't do great if you didn't have your skin all of a sudden. That would be very bad. If I may be so bold. Losing all of your skin. All of a sudden. Very bad. We have done it. This rank is finished. I'm free. We go on to HR 8-star, high rank 8-star, in which Elder Dragons are unlocked. We finish our first weapon completely, because defender weapons are weird. And we build our high rank final armor set as well. Gross defender, yep. I'm only building it because it's there and I'm never going to use it. Because it's icky. Build it and sell it. I need it to be in the box for the sake of like line completion at the end. If it makes you feel better, the save will be deleted sooner or later. Probably not before very long. And then it won't be there anymore. A piece of dog in its place. If only. I don't like you. Ugh. Fusion. Valhazak, Kyostra, Kashala, and Nagigante. Good stuff. You may get the Wilds DLC, it's extremely dependent. On what? Without spoilers. We're still doing spoiler watch even if I'm not doing it. If your friend likes it, just so you can play it with them, that's fair. That's very fair. Wilds DLC is under spoiler watch. Yes. And I can also partake in the watching of spoilers, since I don't care. In general, fully spoilers. I don't think you're gonna have to worry about people coming in here and talking about Deltarune, Mike, to be honest. I might not be necessarily super infused about Wilds, right? But I know a lot of people are. About Ascendants, specifically, I should say, sorry. I know a lot of people are going to be interested in it, and same reason we always did it. It is fucking impossible to find a place where you can watch even the vaguely tiniest bit about the Monster Hunter without immediately being spoiled on everything. There is the spoiler channel in the Discord. Luna's joined. Not yet. I'm not there yet, Luna. Immediately alpha blood the second I get into this rank. Oh god. You don't think you watched the trailer? You didn't even know about the trailer? It was popped into the into my Discord server, so I knew about it immediately. Well, as soon as I woke up. I was sleeping during those announcements. Depending on how much we know about it, we may or not catch it. Yeah, exactly. You beat it already, but I mean, I don't know anything about Deltarune full stop, so Game Awards isn't even fun to watch anymore. I'm gonna go out on a limb here, at least for me personally. I don't think any Game Awards things have ever been any fun to watch, to be honest. E3 when it was around, the Game Awards, Tokyo Game Show, a lot of them. It's just always been like posturing, but I'm just not interested. The way people act on stage put you off like a year or 2 years ago. Yeah, people act like they're the hottest shit since like existence. It's really, really weird. You got extremely depressing news yesterday? I'm concerned if this is going to be truthful. The game you've been waiting for since it was announced got delayed again. What's the thing, the quote? A delayed game is eventually good. A game released too early is forever bad. Counterpoint, Duke Nukem forever. That's the thing, they didn't delay it enough. The quote's a bit of a free win. Because you can basically always just be like, they didn't delay it enough, like. It's a bit bullshit really, but. First it was spring, then July, now October. Yeah, that's quite the, After a certain point, it kind of speaks to, like, are you having development troubles here, right? And becomes worrying in its own right. Cooking a burnt pie won't unburn it. Imagine if it did, though. It'd make cooking a lot easier. Kickstarter was fully completed in 40 minutes. What's the game? Not heard of it, unsurprisingly. Dude, why are you oh my god. Nergy's always such a fucking pushover, I forget. Patapon is... Forgive me for providing the derivative way of saying it. The Pokemon-esque game? Or am I thinking of something else? I'm thinking of something else? Okay. What am I thinking of? Temtem. Maybe. It's a turn-based rhythm fighter? Oh. Okay. Turn-based-ish. How is it? What? It's kind of turn-based or it's not, right? You attack, the enemy attacks. The way the game works is 4 notes to a move to try and keep them from dying. The childhood favorite, fair enough. Hey, nice! Not that bad, because he hits the full, hits the full charges, so... I want to try and get this fucking head break, man. God damn it, Nergy, you're such a goddamn wimp! Why did they give you no health? Man is all aggro and no defense. It's so hard to get a fight with him where you get like all his breaks and stuff. Well, there's just a little bit of the information on stuff that I need in this rank. Apparently a lot of Nergy Claws. 12. Except I need 2 Yaku-Rat. And I need 2 of the Kodachi Pillars. The other 2 are, I believe, specifically the Nergigante weapon. I'm also probably going to need more of his stuff anyway, because I imagine I will build some of his armor as my armor set. Pre-Iceborne, you had the Nergi quest down to an art for that part. Fair. Very fair. His armor's really good. I think that man's arm veins are bigger than my character's arms. Fucking Admiral, man. Has to be at least half Rajang, honestly. Evil, man. Admiral built different, he is. I was like, I need to eat more. No, the Admiral is like half cut with steroids in the womb, I think is the bigger problem. He doesn't need to say hello to me. He doesn't want to. Oh yeah? I was gonna say. Under mortal threat. Can he block a Rajang beam in Iceborne? Yeah, with a fucking rock. Just chucks a fucking rock in the way. Is part Tetsu? I don't know if that rock is anywhere in the cutscene before he appears, so he might be. There is a mod that turns him into Rajang. There's a mod that turns Rajang into him with the most cursed fucking character model in human history as well. It is bad. It is bad. Before the world, he's met Furious. I like Rajang in this game. I think they did a really good job with Rajang in this game. Any credit you'll give the movie that does not exist? Ron Perlman makes sense for the Admiral. That's true. You know, they did a good job with Furious. You don't like base Rajang? Oh, really? What makes the difference for you between the two of them? I find that very interesting. If I remember, you spawn at Camp 11 because you can see blue tracks above your head or something. if it's up there. So now it will either be to the left or to the right. I don't remember how this shit fucking works at all, man. Base Rajang can be one-tricked by running around to its side. So Rajang, then. That's what Rajang was pre-world. Furious makes you think a little bit. Fair. It was this way. Not for you, which is your favorite. The only thing I don't really like about Rajang in this mode is that they kept fisting mode around. I don't really like it when he goes into fisting mode. I think it's just kind of like anti-fun. I'm missing like one track. Really? There we go. It's central for Tio. And then that central area and some degree of into the desert, depending on which pattern of tracks you get. Rajang is a test of avoiding overcommitment, yeah. The only thing I don't like about Rajang's in the old game isn't even Rajang's fault. It's the way that players are about Rajang in the old games because of how, wait, no, this isn't the right camp. You started this one. Because he's kind of like, if you play against him a shit ton, he has a certain degree of predictability. Like, he always follows up certain moves with certain other moves, so you can start, like, predicting a greatsword charge in a certain spot or something like that. People are just, like, intolerable about it. It's very frustrating. Anything that I don't really like about him kind of applies for all monsters in the older games, I feel. Which is when they all just make like 90-degree turns. It feels so bad. when they turn to look at you and it's just like 3 90-degree turns. You know? Not great. Well, I guess the hitbox on his laser is a bit of a shitbox sometimes as well, actually. For Rajang. Sometimes his laser is a bit of a shitbox. That's always very annoying. Just gonna finish Elder tracks here, so that I've got them all gathered for tomorrow. And then I'll have me break and switch games. 4th gen Fatalis are a huge victim of that? Yeah. It's basically the whole thing of why the tail is so dangerous with Fatty, right? It's because he makes those 90-degree turns and his tail is an active hitbox the whole fucking time. Whoever decided that was a good idea. Back in probably Gen 1 days, actually, right? He's in Monster Hunter 1. Ha ha! Joke's on you, Jordan. The only time I've been in a club was on a work trip. But that's not true at all. Hello. Welcome. Shouldn't worry about the tail unless Jewel Blade's the only one that cares, yeah. Okay, that's all the tracks gathered. Nice! Oh yeah, you have to speak to the dude. That'll be next time's problem. That is going to be Monster Hunter specifically for the day. If you're just here for Monster Hunter, thank you very much for your time. I'll be back with more tomorrow. You can see when on the linky link here. Otherwise, I am going to take myself a very quick break, only like 5 minutes or so, and then I'll be back with some Metreon Odyssey. See you in just a second.